What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Triple Option Podcast. I got my cowboy hat today because how about them Cowboys? Next to me, I have the gent with intent, the boss with the gloss, the man with the plan, Akshay Raj.
Hey man, these intros never get old, you know. I really appreciate these from you, Anurag, you know. And how about that? How about them Cowboys, you know?
Yes, sir.
Repping a quality team, you know.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
The score would definitely suggest that. You would think.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Across from me, we have the mind refined, the king with wings, the wit with the grit, Arjun Berthi.
What is going on, everybody? How's it going, guys? My co-hosts.
I'm doing good.
Pretty solid, man.
I'm pretty disappointed with this week's offerings for games. Week 8 was
bro.
a dud,
That's
bro.
true.
Yeah,
Very true.
Only one score game, and all the other ones were decided pretty handily. Some upsets, but handy upsets. Also, a lot of ref ball, which I did not enjoy.
Y'all will hear about that from me. A lot of ref ball.
All right, let's get started with the only close game this week. The Bengals absolutely choking against the Jets. Any thoughts on this, Akshay?
Why me? Okay. Well, I found this to be a very interesting game, to be honest. I felt like the Bengals were like the clear favorite, obviously, but it was only a matter of time until the Jets finally get their first win under the belt. I feel like it was a long overdue process, and unfortunately it happened against the Bengals, given that they're probably aspiring to make the playoffs, and the Jets are probably still vying for the number 1 overall pick. So, but with that in mind, I think the game... before that, Justin Fields got benched, right? Right before
Last week, right?
Yes.
he got benched the previous week. Tyrod Taylor played the rest of the previous game, and then Tyrod Taylor got hurt during the week, which made Justin Fields the starting quarterback again.
Starter.
And thank goodness, bro.
And then he played like he played in week 1 all of a sudden.
Yeah,
man.
thank
Like,
goodness for
he
that.
was balling out. I think 244 passing yards. There was like 31 rushing yards. Obviously, the run game was really solid with Breece as well.
No turnovers from
Yeah,
Fields.
no turnovers. We had a game-winning touchdown. I think Breece threw it, right? Was
Yeah,
that the
he
one?
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Breece threw it.
He might be the quarterback one.
Cincinnati, they let up game-winning touchdown to a running back, and I'm not referring to Justin Fields.
I see what you did there.
I'm not referring
very-
to Justin Fields.
Very cool, yeah. But yeah, I think it was altogether a pretty solid game. The Bengals they just turned it off on defense the second half. I felt like they kind of were doing pretty good the first 3 quarters, and then just gave it all up the last quarter.
I think Joe Flacco got hurt towards the end of the game, right?
Yeah, that's true. I think
But I think as a defense, like, you can't let up like what?
Yeah.
They were let up multiple scores with like 5 minutes or so left to
Yeah.
play.
I'm not-
They
I'm-
let up like 2-point conversions,
Also, like,
2 touchdowns.
if Flacco is hurt, why are we not like running the ball a little bit? You know, like the run
Right.
game was good the whole
Right.
game. It was
Like,
decent.
you're already up like 16 or something as well, right?
Yeah.
Like just
And on the final drive, I think they dialed up 3 pass plays in a row.
Yeah.
And then they
Uh-huh.
punted the ball, and that gave the Jets a chance to win the game.
Wow.
right.
Yeah.
Think
Zach Taylor, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, bro.
What are you doing?
Like they weren't even in field goal range. So like,
I
what
think
can
that
you do?
the Jets also played that to perfection, right? Because they were down by 14.
Uh-huh.
Then once they got a
Yes.
touchdown, they
Yeah.
went for a 2-point conversion
That's
the
true,
first
that
time.
is true,
And
yeah.
they converted.
And they converted.
Yeah.
And that made a big
that was a
difference.
review. That was a great play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a review, bro. Well, yeah.
But to me, it looked like he was a little bit short. But I guess the review got called.
Yeah, the review definitely ruled in their favor. Honestly, I thought the play calling was pretty good this game overall, at least in the last quarter. I didn't fully pay attention to the first 3 quarters, so I can't really speak on that too much. But there's a chance. Like I'm of the belief that Aaron Glenn actually outcoached Zach Taylor in this game.
I can agree with that.
Yeah,
I can agree with that.
Like going for
sure.
2 down 14 was the correct play. Right?
Yeah.
You have 2 chances to go.
Analytics play, as they
Yep.
say,
And it
Right.
worked out exactly in their favor. They had the chance to win the game on the last drive.
Right.
which
And-
they did.
Yeah, and they did. Zach Taylor, like timeouts. I think he had a couple timeouts that he left unused. Like,
Yep.
come on, bro.
Yeah,
What are we doing?
I was actually very disappointed by the coaching, as Arjun said in the fourth quarter, because like you had both of your running backs like absolutely torched the Jets defense for the first 3 quarters.
I
And then
suggest pass a run defense, run the ball.
Yeah, and then you just decided not to like use them when you were up. When you're actually up and you're supposed to be running the ball,
Yeah.
you just decide not to use it, and then just keep punting it and giving the Jets multiple opportunities to kind of come back. So I mean, yeah, it was just poor coaching in the last quarter for sure. I'll say that.
Yeah, shout out Tanner Engstrad, the Jets OC, who's calling the plays for the Jets.
He's honestly doing a great job, and I think he is working with what he has, because essentially, like, you're always running a wildcat offense with Justin Fields, right? And like, if we can get this Justin Fields more, that would be good. But as we saw after week 1, after which I called him a bye, that is not what we're getting every week. So I don't know. Like, I feel like he's done a great job with what pieces he has. You know, I think Breece, I hope he sticks around, because he seems like an integral part of this team.
Right.
For sure.
Garrett Wilson, when he's back, man, I think they've got the pieces.
They have pieces. Yeah. Looks like
they got to keep building up the team.
There are a few pieces on defense, and obviously like a competent QB away from being decent, I guess.
Yeah,
for sure. I think looking towards the future for both teams, I guess mainly the Bengals, because I guess the Jets are still like, I don't think they can make the playoffs at any point, right?
Yeah,
but the Bengals still have chances here and there. But obviously this loss is a big blow for them.
For sure.
And then I think Joe Flacco's also injured.
Yeah.
He might not play the game against the Bears, which we may or may not get into. But
rough for me. I picked them in the draft that we had last week.
Yeah. But
one other thing I wanted to say, did you guys see what Justin Fields said in the post-game presser?
Yeah, that was a heartfelt interview.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, he's a good guy, even in Chicago. Like, he was a professional with the media, right? Chicago media is tough, and you can see that with Caleb nowadays. But, you know, he's always been, like, a professional through and through. And honestly, I feel like I'm always rooting for the guy, even though, like, may not be a good player. He may be, like, a garbage time merchant. I'm always rooting for him, you know?
Yeah. No, I truly feel for Justin Fields in those like interviews that he gave.
Yeah, that owner saying the stuff that he said was...
He should not have said that.
He should not have said that at all.
That is unprofessional.
Very unprofessional. Shout out Justin Fields, big win. Yeah, shout out the Jets this week, first win.
First win on the board.
There's no 0-17
Thank goodness.
So far. No team will be going 0-17 for the season. So yeah.
Phew.
All right. I guess with that, we can go to the next game. We will do one more game recap, just because this week was kind of, like as Anurag said, very lopsided in terms of teams just being dominant over the other team. But one game that we did want to go.
Let's talk about the Bears, Arjun.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Bears.
You want to get us started?
Sure. First of all, I think Caleb Williams played an okay game. I don't think he was amazing. I don't think he was like a top 10 quarterback, but I think he was an okay game. And this might be one of his better games of the season, because he was able to just march the ball up the field. He was pretty efficient. He was accurate. I was watching all of his passes. Like, I think usually he struggles with accuracy, especially in the middle of the field and the early parts of the field. But hey, he was hitting things pretty well. I think his accuracy was pretty good. I don't have the stat sheet pulled up in front of me.
He was like 25 for 38 completion.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good line. Yeah. The problem is
25 for 38, 285 yards and an interception.
Yeah, 25 for 38. That's less good than I thought, but it's not horrible. And like, I think ultimately they were able to get the ball down the field a lot, but they had to settle for a lot of field goals. They only scored one touchdown, I think, and that kind of proved to be the end of like their run.
I think the interception was very costly as well.
It was.
I think it was pick 6, right?
No, it was a pick.
But it set the Ravens up in the red zone, right?
Yeah. And the truth is, there was a face mask on that play, which should have been called.
Okay.
But the pick was bad regardless, so that's on Caleb. And I guess if it's not called, it's not a real face mask. So.
Yeah, I don't think I was as concerned with the offense this game. I mean, obviously things happen, and I think as Arjun said, Caleb did throw pretty well today. I was a little more concerned about the Bears defense, to be honest with you, because they were playing against a Lamarless Ravens, and the past couple of weeks we haven't seen the Ravens had any success against any like competent defenses. I'm not saying like the Bears are necessarily like a top 10 or like top 15-ish defense. To be fair, they probably aren't, but even then, like giving up 30 to like Tyler Huntley. I mean, Derrick Henry had a really good game.
You're not a believer in Pro Bowl Tyler Huntley?
No, I'm not a believer in Pro Bowl Tyler Huntley, and thank goodness we are recording this on a Friday. Thank goodness Lamar is back, because we saw them on Thursday nights actually cook the Dolphins.
Torch
the Dolphins. It wasn't even close, and I think it just makes the offense just more and more, just breathes more breath into that offense. So, but yeah, I was a little bit in shock about the Bears defense and how they let up that much in terms of
So
the run game, I guess.
So the Bears' top 4 cornerbacks were out of this game. Like Jaelen Johnson is obviously on IR.
Right.
Tyreek Stevenson was out. Kyler Gordon was out. Then a couple of our depth pieces were also out. So we were starting practice squad guys basically.
Yeah, I think in that situation, you're right in the sense that obviously the Bears' defense is very injured, and 30 points even against Tyler Huntley is like the Ravens still have some pieces.
Yeah.
It's not just
That's
Lamar
true.
Jackson.
Henry was a good player.
But to that I say, your defense is out, and the Ravens' defense hasn't been what it has advertised. I think as an offense, you have to score 30 points.
To score. Yeah, exactly.
You know your defense is best, so you have to help out.
Yep.
And I think as for Caleb, I think he was okay, like maybe a 4 out of 10 or 5 out of 10 performance.
I would agree with that.
I really think that I was really frustrated. He made that amazing pass to set up a red zone drive to potentially, like, it was unlikely that the Bears would make a comeback, but like to keep the game alive. And he had a guy wide open, Roma Dunes. Was it Roma Dunes?
It was DJ Moore.
DJ Moore wide open in the back end zone.
Yeah.
He completely missed him, and you can't be missing those throws.
I think it's interesting, right? There's several like examples of this, like every game you watch where when Caleb plays against the zone, his receivers will settle behind the zone, right? I think that's what they're taught to do, right?
Right.
But Caleb will like throw it farther and completely miss them because he thinks that they will keep running or something like that. And I think this was an example of this where Caleb rockets the ball, where he could have just thrown a touch pass to DJ Moore in the end zone, right? But DJ Moore like settles right there in the back where he's open, right? Because he's correct actually. But Caleb for some reason thinks he's gonna keep going and like completely breaks the pass.
Yeah.
And I think this is like a pretty red flag at this point because he's had a year plus to gel, and like if you're still not able to understand that when your receivers are gonna sit in the zone, like that kind of speaks to both the coaching and also Caleb's ability to gel with his receivers. So I think that's kind of damning at this point, and we'll see if that improves. I really hope it does. I think Ben Johnson is the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe my Caleb take is not aging as well as I thought as well.
Maybe. But this is the first Bears game under 21 points. So
yeah, I think we ought to give Caleb some more time, and he'll probably hit that second contract.
You gotta. Yeah.
I'll be very surprised if he doesn't hit a second contract
I'll be very sad, bro.
Because of because of like the amount that Chicago invested in him.
Yeah. And
So,
the pieces that they put around him, like
yeah, the Bears have done a good job putting some pieces around Caleb. It's just he has to put it together. Obviously, you drafted QB number 1 overall to be like a game changer, elite guy, and so far he's been like mid at best.
Yeah, the thing is he is showing that he can play in the system, which was like a big worry about him. So if he can dial in, like if they can get the explosives to be more successful, I think the Ben Johnson offense will be like cooking with gas. So we'll see what he can do this year. Probably next year is like the real, make or break year. I feel like if he doesn't do well at that point, maybe, it's best to get a veteran type of QB, like a little bit more of a cerebral guy to run that Ben Johnson offense. I don't know.
Someone like Kirk Cousins?
Someone like Kurt? Not Kurt. But
yeah. But I guess moving forward with both teams. Or go ahead.
Wait. I got one more thing. So per NFLpenalties.com, this is by Scott Bear. The Bears have been flagged 64 times for 533 yards. This is the second highest per game in the league. The Bears' opponents have been flagged 36 times for only 254 yards. This is the second lowest per game count in the league. And like this speaks to like the consistent like discipline issues that the Bears have had, because I think you were the one who told me like it was you. You know Darnell Wright by name because of the penalties, because of the false starts. Colson Loveland, like always false starting, right?
Yeah.
And at this point, like the Bears are like, I think the refs are just watching out for the Bears because they know that this team commits a lot of penalties, and it's like a snowball effect. Whereas they might be more focused on the Bears so they don't catch the penalties that the Ravens might make or an opposing team. I don't think it's a conspiracy yet, but this is something to watch. But
I agree with that. It really hurts the drives when you have like a 4th and 2 or like 4th and 1, and then you get like a penalty like that. Or even if you're like at a 2nd and 10 or something, and you get a penalty like that, all of a sudden a 2nd and 15, you don't really have much of an option to run the ball at that point, and you're more so just like having 2 pass attempts to get you a first down, and you're just punting it after that.
The Bears have, I think, the second highest third down distance in the league, and that's because of exactly what you're saying.
Right.
Like, they find themselves in those spots so often.
Yeah. I guess. Do you think that's an OC issue? Is that
I think it's kind of like a lot of these are false starts because of like, I guess it's like probably issues with how I would put this kind of on the line and Caleb and like the offensive leaders. And that's what Ben Johnson said in his post-game interview too. He's like, we have discussed this repeatedly, and now after this it's like on the players like and the team leaders to get their players to be more like cleaning up these penalties. I don't know. I don't think it's on Ben at all or the coaches. I think it's just like
not
an execution.
even like the position coaches or so purely on the players.
I think I'm like 80% on the players, 20%.
I vaguely remember like at the start of the season, I might be wrong on this, but there was like a minor issue on like Caleb's cadence the previous year or something
last
like
year
that.
he had like his cadence was horrible, and they didn't even discuss like drop back steps. They didn't discuss anything. So.
Right. So I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that could be the issue at all. I'm not putting fault just specifically at Caleb, but like these like things like this can like compound where like there's not like a specific player that you fall for this, but it's just a combination of all these things that just makes up the issue.
You know, like we know like Ben Johnson is like this like complicated offense type of guy, and he has like a bunch of creative things, but even for the players, I guess it'll take them time to
I guess learn
absorb the system and know what to do. But you were saying
I guess moving forward for the Bears, and I guess for the Ravens as well, because we saw the Ravens win back-to-back games. I mean, not necessarily against like high quality teams, but it's not like the Ravens do play high quality teams the rest of the season. What do you guys think about Ravens' outlook to potentially sneak into the playoffs? I think they're 3-5 now, and then
I think it's pretty likely.
And then
get it. Isaiah likely.
Oh, and then I guess the Bears' chances to maybe sneak into the playoffs as well. I think they're now 4-3, and probably going to end up as third in their division. But will that be enough?
Yeah, I feel pretty pessimistic about the Bears' chances. Like I think this could be. I'm hoping for a 7-10 season. I think that would be a success.
Okay.
From last year's 5-12, but for the Ravens, they have a good chance. Like they still have both their games against the Steelers, right?
Right.
And they have Lamar back. They have a pretty, as you said, easy schedule. Like I could see them still taking the spot of the AFC North.
I don't think the Steelers are a very strong team to begin with, and the Bengals, as much as I put stock in them, like they've completely like
they're falling apart.
They're falling apart for sure. That coaching staff and that they're getting exposed. I'm not gonna lie. Like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have been covering for them for so long, but it's looking like the cracks are starting to show for the Bengals, and obviously the Browns are the Browns. My Browns take is also not aging particularly well, but
we're almost there, bro. Week 10, right?
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
All right, I guess we can move on with recaps. Go into the special segment. Do any of you guys want to just talk about it, or?
It's trade deadline is upcoming, so we've got a special trade-focused special segment this week. So how it's going to work is we're each going to propose 2 players that are going to get traded, and we're going to decide, we're going to rate on a scale of 1 through 5 how likely it is to get traded and how much you like the move for both teams.
To a specific team, by the way. So like
so it'll be a specific team trade. Yeah.
All right, I will go first.
Okay.
So my first one is a bit of a mild take, I think. It's Jerome Ford to the Chargers.
Okay. You want to give context on that?
Yeah, sure. So, like, obviously the Chargers have lost Omarion Hampton. They've lost Najee Harris. Both their starters are gone, and now they're starting guys like Kimani Vidal, who has been pretty good, and also Hassan Haskins, who has not been pretty good, right? I think there have been rumors for a while that they're interested in adding a veteran running back. I don't think it's going to be Breece Hall. I think like a cheap addition, like maybe trade your 6th for a 7th for Jerome Ford, who's on like not too bad of a deal, a very manageable contract, which I think expires this year. And it's like a veteran who you can absorb like a couple of carries and be good behind a decent like recovering offensive line. I think it's a pretty good deal for both teams. The Browns get some draft capital.
You don't think the Chargers would go after a more, let's say, like high profile,
maybe like a more lucrative option,
more like a proven option?
What do you think? Let me reflect that question back onto you.
Okay, well, I guess I'll start with the Browns' point of view, right? From the Browns' point of view, I see this as like
no-brainer,
no-brainer, right? Because you already have Judkins. I mean, he's out right now, but you have Judkins, who's a long-term running back. You have Dylan Sampson as well. That's a very good receiving running back. So
they picked both of those guys in both the draft, so they definitely have stock in both of them.
Both are rookies, and both are poised for a great future on the Browns. So it's clear as day that Jerome Ford is a trade option. So I can see that. The question is, as Anurag said, is the destination.
Yeah, if you're the Chargers, right? Like I think you're looking to move the needle on your playoff chances and Super Bowl contention. And does Jerome Ford really move the needle that much?
Omarion Hampton is back probably after their Week 12 bye, right? Like there has been nothing to indicate that he won't be back, and I think I think their coaches were saying like, oh, like he would have played, or they didn't say he would have played already, but they were like, we obviously can't activate him because of league policy. So that seems to me like they're implying good things. It's just coach speak, but I think if Hampton is back, then do you really like? Would it be wasted draft capital if you spend a first on Hampton in the last draft and you're spending extra on another RB like maybe Breece?
That is fair. That is fair.
That's true.
How much are you going to invest in that position when you have other spots of need too?
That's true, because like moving forward as well, like does it really seem like a viable option if you have both Hampton and then like what does Jerome Ford do in the offense moving forward past this season, right? That's only just like a couple.
It's
weeks
a stopgap.
Yeah, stopgap. Exactly.
Yeah, so
a band-aid on the wound.
So yeah, in that sense, 1 to 5, 5 being like most likely, like I could see this happening. 1 being like no, I don't see this happening at all. I'll probably see like it's like a 3.5. I would say.
Alright.
I'll go a little bit higher. I think Arjun made some good points. I'm gonna go 4.
That's a success.
Yeah.
Hey, can we keep track of points, bro? Because I feel like I want to know if mine were the most accurate takes or.
Okay. Yeah.
Alright.
7.5. All right. Well, actually.
Yeah.
I'll give my own a 10.5, and we'll see if if any of these happen.
Oh, so you're giving it a 3?
I'll give it a 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Now we should rate it 1 through 5 based on how much we like the trade. I think. So actually, do you like this trade for the Chargers? Not whether or not you think it'll happen.
This is the score for most likely to happen, right?
Most likely to happen.
Okay.
Now, what do you think? You think
5
you like this trade?
You love it.
You love it for
Both teams.
both teams?
Okay, so for the Browns, I like it. Like offloading someone is fine. So let's account like my score is probably like 2.5, 2.5. So Browns full 2.5. Chargers is probably like 1.5. They're not getting like an insane guy, but just someone obviously it's a stopgap. So I'd probably give it like a 3.5 as well.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's a no-brainer for the Browns, and for the Chargers, it's a band-aid stopgap. It's good. I'm gonna give it 3 as well, 3.5.
I'll give it the same. I'll give it a 4 because I made the trade. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right,
Arjun, hit us with your next one.
No. Let's all do one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I gotta save my spicy one.
Yeah.
All right, Akshay, hit us.
So mine one is my first one is Jaelen Phillips. This was also a little bit of a colder one. I think there's an option for this guy to be moved. Just as a reference, Jaelen Phillips is a linebacker on the Dolphins. The Dolphins are now officially 2-7 and looking to trade a few of their defensive options, notably Jaelen Phillips, who's on the final year of his contract, as well as options like Bradley Chubb, Matthew Judon. Matthew Judon might be one of the easier ones to let go of just because he's a little bit older, towards the apex of his, past the good years of his career. But I can see Jaelen Phillips amongst the targets that he could go to the Lions. And the reasoning for this is... well, the potential thing I'm seeing for this is it could be like a Lions future 4th and then like a current 7th or something like that they could do for this. And realistically, the reason for that is Lions are a contender, obviously. They have the big dog in Aiden Hutchinson. But after that, they don't really have a secondary, like, good quality, like, pass rusher and, outside the box tackler per se that Jaelen Phillips is pretty good at. So that's just kind of my take there. The Lions obviously just need some help on the front line, and I guess Jaelen Phillips can be kind of the guy to do that for them, and won't be that expensive either. But they would have to pay them the following year because he's on a contract year.
To me, like, it's not that a 4th seems high. It's just that the fact that he's on a contract year is a little bit spooky to me.
Okay, true.
He's a little bit like a 4th for a guy on a contract year who's just a rental.
I don't know if it's a rental. They could pay him.
They could pay him. You're right. I don't know. Like the Lions' salary cap situation is a little bit strained now.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Because they paid all their guys.
Yeah, Miami picked him pretty high. He was the 18th overall pick.
Oh wow!
Of the NFL draft in 2021.
Wow.
So they invested a lot in him. So far this year, he has 15 solo tackles and 3 sacks. So he is a good player.
That is a 4th
investment
even enough?
Is that? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if
is a 4th and even enough? So I did some research. I think a 4th is about what people are saying he's going to go for.
I think the issue is like the payment, right? Like that's what lowers his draft stock. Okay, you got to pay the guy. You got to give him an extension. I think if you trade for him, since he's so young, I think it's stupid to trade for him and then just not do anything.
Yeah, they definitely.
If you trade for him,
you have to pay him.
Yeah.
And is that the best use? Like the Lions have like a really good team. Can they afford to like throw these contracts around? They have a lot of like established guys that they want to keep. So is Jaelen Phillips someone that they view highly enough to give a second contract to? That's interesting. I've been hearing a lot of in Jaelen Phillips rumors. I've been hearing a lot of the Eagles. So I guess the Eagles have been linked with everyone.
Yeah, the Eagles have been linked to getting a lot of pass rushers and pass defensive options. So, but I just feel like the Lions could be more of a firm landing spot in that sense. Just given the fact that the Lions have been kind of set on this guy for the most part, but the Eagles have just been speculating on like so many options. So that's kind of my reasoning for that.
I'll give it a 2.5.
Okay.
I'm gonna go a bit lower too. I just think that the Miami Dolphins invested so much in this guy, and I don't know if
Did they trade him?
they trade him for just something, and I don't know how much Detroit is willing to give because they also have to pay him, right?
Right.
So I think there's like a mismatch there in how much they value and how much Detroit is willing to give. So
If Jaelen Phillips is getting traded,
then maybe a little bit higher, right?
Yeah.
But I just don't think Detroit has that assets, and like maybe they don't want to spend those assets.
yeah, they're
As
already
for-
down their future third, I believe.
As for, I guess we can go around. You said 2.5. Do you want to give a score? Because I want to talk about whether or not I like this trade.
Oh, for how likely it is to happen?
For how likely it is to happen.
I'll probably give it 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
For me, I like this trade. Honestly, I think
Same.
you're 100% right that Hutch could have some help in the pass rush game,
Definitely.
and Jaelen Phillips also decent in coverage as well if you need to put him there. And I think it's a really good trade. Really boost the defense for the Lions. So if they can get this done at that price that Akshay mentioned, I think that's another genius play by their GM.
And honestly, if the Dolphins just want to clean house, I could see them doing it for a 4th and a 7th. Like that's not bad draft capital, right? Even I think the Lions would even be willing to pay a little bit more. So I kind of like this trade for both of the teams. You know, bump me up to a 3, bro. Maybe this is happening. I'm talking myself into it.
Nice.
Okay, so for what likelihood to happen?
Yeah, for likelihood.
Okay. So
I think for me, whether or not I like this trade, I'm giving it a 4. I think it's a great shot from Akshay.
Okay. Yeah,
I'll give it a 4 as
I would
well.
give myself a 3.5 for this. But okay, so what likelihood to happen is what 11.5?
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. Whether we like it or not, and then likelihood to happen. You said 3, 2.5. Okay, so 7.5. Okay.
Wait. Oh, likelihood to happen. Yeah.
Okay, so likelihood. Okay, all right. Okay, and then Anurag, you can go ahead.
Sure. My first one is, I think this is a lot of rumors. I think you probably heard this before. I'm going Chris Olave to the Buffalo Bills. I
That's
think
huge. That would be huge.
Josh Allen. I know the Bills have problems elsewhere, but Josh Allen needs a premier receiver. It's been a while since Diggs left, and they've just been dinking dunking their way. I think you have a QB like Josh Allen, get him like a really like
A signature weapon.
again, because you saw what kind of magic they made, Diggs and Allen made. So I think get Allen like a prime receiver in Chris Olave. And as for compensation, this is an interesting one. I think maybe a 2nd potentially would do it. I think that's a good. I think 1 second-round pick, maybe even the multiple, maybe another bench player in return. I don't know. I'm not really the best when it comes to creating these trades, but
None of us are, bro.
yeah.
It's just a guesstimation at that
It's a
point.
guesstimation, but I guess graded on whether you think the Bills should invest in getting Chris Olave.
Right. Okay.
Akshay is a fan of Josh Allen, so
yeah,
I think you should go first.
Sure, I can go ahead. I like the trade for the Bills. Obviously, it makes the Bills' offense even more dynamic. Obviously, everyone just gets pecked down the order, and Olave just steps up as your wide receiver 1. So it just makes the options a lot better. You already have Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman. There's Kincaid. That's kind of like your big 3, and then there's like some other smaller guys here and there, in addition to like James Cook, Ray Davis. They also use Ray Davis and Ty Johnson quite a bit, like in the backfield for pass options. So in that sense, I do like it that they have like this alpha wide receiver that they've kind of seen success from when Diggs was on the Bills. So yeah, in terms of me liking the trade, I would give it like a 3.5 for sure. I just think that it just depends on the price point, obviously, as Anurag's kind of already hinted at. In terms of likelihood, I wouldn't be so certain if the Bills are the necessary spot that he would go to. Same argument with Jaelen Phillips here, so I would lean towards like a 2.5 for this. I think the Bills could be more open to going for defensive options, just because a lot of their guys are a little older and they probably want depth in those kind of positions. That's just my only thought process for that. Like if they were to buy, they'd probably opt for a defensive option more likely than someone like Chris Olave.
So this is interesting to me. Like, I agree with Akshay a little bit, but it's also like, just thinking about it from the Saints' perspective, right? They're probably going to draft a QB this year, and when their QB comes in next year, who would his weapons be? Like, he has Rashid Shaheed, right?
That's it.
And I guess like Juwan Johnson, and then suddenly like your QB has no real pass options besides like a washed Kamara too.
I think the Saints are in a big like cap issue
They
as
are in
well.
cap hell, yeah.
So I think have they paid Chris Olave yet? I'm unsure.
I think he's still on his rookie deal.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah,
they paid
so
him
I
yet.
think another issue is I don't think they want to pay Chris Olave, maybe potentially because he's gonna want like wide receiver 1 money, and I don't know if the Saints can plan to afford that.
I don't know if he's deserved
an
wide receiver
interesting-
1 money though.
Yeah, like
Realistically,
does he deserve like those?
like he's
40
like
million
okay,
contract?
sure. Like when he came into the NFL, he probably was one of the more likely guys to get that kind of payment like 4 years down the road. But like obviously due to like injuries, obviously concussions, things like that, he hasn't been that reliable of an option on a week-to-week basis that they would have liked. And obviously quarterback help hasn't been great. Like he hasn't been able to succeed compared to some of the other options that he's been like compared to. But yeah, I don't necessarily feel like he deserves from what he's shown so far that kind of like big money contract. I would maybe say like 25 mil is like his
estimation?
In estimation, maybe.
Interesting.
25 mil per year.
So
Seems low.
what score are you guys giving this?
I will give this a.
In terms of me liking the trade, I said 3.5.
Okay.
And then in terms of this likelihood, I'd say like 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd probably say like I like the trade a lot. Like I think it's a 4, right? I think especially like the cap reasons that you mentioned that like low key pushed my grade up. But in terms of likelihood, I'll give it like a 2. I think if the Saints were to trade a receiver, I think they would trade Shaheed. Because I think Shaheed fits on a lot more teams and like he's like less expensive to move, right? So more buyers. I assume the demand would be higher.
Right.
I don't know.
Your scores?
I'm gonna give it likelihood to happen. I'll give it 3, and how much I like the trade, I'm gonna give it 4.
Okay, so
Okay.
4.
All right. Time
All right,
for
you're-
my spicy one.
Oh, okay.
All right. This one is Breece Hall.
Oh,
to
you're
the
going double running backs.
double running back to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Ooh.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people discuss the Chargers, but I feel like the Kansas City Chiefs are another good option. Like Pacheco just went down with some injury. It's something that'll keep him week to week. I think it was like something with his knee.
Yeah, I think also the Chiefs don't have an established
And
running
they don't
back
have
one.
an established running back one, right? Right now it's like a committee with Pacheco, Hunt, and Hunt is washed, and Brashard Smith, who is like a 7th round pick. He's been decent. He could become something, but he's no Breece Hall. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
This offense is generating a lot of explosives with Rashee Rice, right? Xavier Worthy is another guy who's able to take the ball like out of the backfield, kind of. Even Rashee Rice can do that, but nothing compares to what the extra dimension that Breece Hall can provide for this offense, right? And Breece Hall is a receiving threat out of the backfield too, and there's so much versatility that you can run things with Rashee Rice, who's like, a demon, like, in the slot. Then you have Xavier Worthy,
Yeah, demon on the highway too.
Yeah, demon on the highway too. And then you have Breece. So I just feel like
Hey, don't forget Kelsey.
the football fit is there, and Kelsey. Yeah. And the football fit is there. The contract thing is an issue though. So that's why I don't think this is very likely to happen. I don't think the Chiefs would be interested in giving Breece a second contract. And to trade for a rental right now is probably a bit rich, especially when their offense is already humming. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I can start. I guess from the Chiefs' point of view, right, they're already comfortably winning games with their healthy offense back. The question is whether they will have a healthy offense when it comes to playoffs, right? And especially that comes to like the running back core, which is like very random all of a sudden. There's like Pacheco. What is it? Elijah Mitchell still there?
He is, but he's injured.
Okay, there's
He's on
injured Elijah
reserve.
Mitchell. There's like Brashard Smith.
And
There's
Hunt
Kareem
is there.
Hunt. This is like the most random running back class or running back core that you will get. And then if you add Breece on top of that, it's like, okay, well, everything's solidified now. Like we're good. The question is, do they feel like that's worth the payment for Breece Hall that makes their offense like that much better per se? Because obviously it will make their offense better, but like by how much is what they determine is how much they pay to get Breece is the question here. So in terms of the landing spot, I like it. I'm just not so certain on whether the Chiefs feel like they need to invest in Breece per se
At this stage,
at this stage, yeah. For the Jets too, it's like you're kind of building something nice here. You do have like Breece is like your stud running back that you can trust in the next few years, hopefully. I think he's only like 24 now, right? Or 20?
Yeah, he's very young.
Yeah, so you can trust him for the next couple of years.
3 years.
And then let's say you get a decent quarterback or something like that in the draft, something just to like continue to help your team all together. I'm not too sure if the Jets are willing to let go of Breece unless they get like a really lucrative offer. I don't know if the Chiefs.
Yeah, what can the Chiefs offer the Jets is what I was about to ask. Because I think that'll affect my likelihood score quite a bit. I don't think the Chiefs have like any crazy assets unless they do some like crazy blockbuster Chris Jones for Breece Hall, something crazy like that. I don't think
the Jets have no reason to have Chris Jones.
Yeah, I think that even then it's like
also like I think the Jets themselves do not seem to be giving any indications that they want to move Breece now.
Yeah.
So that's also changed recently. I'll give it like my own score for this would probably be like a 1 in terms of likelihood.
Oh.
Sure, you can give me a 0.5. Put it at 0.5. And in terms of liking it, I would say a 4 for the Chiefs. Actually, I should do 2.5 and 2.5. So I'll say like a.
I think one thing to note is that the Jets
have
have cap space, so it's not like they're struggling hitting the cap.
It's not like they're the Saints, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, in terms of me liking the trade, for both teams, I would just give it a 1. I think this only helps the Chiefs realistically.
So it should be a 2.5. If you think it'll help the Chiefs.
Wait. Sorry, was the like was you said a 3 and the likelihood was a 0.5?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
The likelihood for me is a 1.
Okay.
My bad.
Sorry.
And then me liking the trade is like 2 for the Chiefs and like 0.5 for the Jets. So I guess 2.5.
Seems pretty legit.
So yeah.
Seems legit.
And then Anurag?
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna go 1 likelihood, and then as I like the trade, I don't like it for the Jets, so I'm gonna give it 3.
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna give it 2.5. I don't like it at all for the Jets.
That's fair.
All right, so 8.5 or 8. Okay, cool.
Pretty much what I expected.
Yeah, I mean it's a hot take for a reason.
It's a hot take for a reason. Yeah.
All right. Next one for me is David Njoku. Just some background for this. They drafted a tight end by the name of Harold Fannin, who has been doing very, very well.
He's so tough.
He's been doing very, very well for the Browns. He's a pretty good pass blocker. Njoku's also been a very good pass blocker, to be fair. So, but they've also picked up a tight end from. I don't remember if it was a practice squad or if it was from free agency or something like that. From waivers. They picked up a tight end from waivers, which kind of inclines that they could be looking to trade Njoku. And Njoku's kind of on his contract year, so I don't know if they would want to pay Njoku moving forward, given they have someone like Fannin that they can rely on for the next couple of years in the rookie contract. So the question is, where's the destination? And that's where the hot take comes in. I think a team that is contending right now and might be looking for a tight end they can rely on is the Los Angeles Rams.
Ooh.
And the reasoning for that is, I can tell you who the Rams have right now. They have Tyler Higbee, Darius Allen, Terrence Ferguson is their rookie, and one other guy, I don't remember his name, but for the most part, none of these guys are like known to be good pass blockers and rush blockers. I think Njoku can really help them in that sense. And then he's also just like that third target that you can rely on aside from like Puka and Devontae coming into a potential playoff push, right? Because they made it really far in the playoffs last year, right? They made it to the divisional, barely lost to the Eagles, things like that. And I think Njoku could just make the offense even more just
interesting.
Just interesting. You know, just adds another weapon to Matthew Stafford to kind of utilize. And then obviously he's a good pass blocker, run blocker, so that helps too. So
I think I can go first with my thoughts. I think actually you cooked with this trade. 5 actually, not for maybe likelihood for 5, but for how much I like this trade, I'm gonna give it a 5.
Oh,
I think it's a great trade. I think
First 5 of the day.
I think it makes sense for both teams. I think Stafford could use another weapon, and I think he can make Njoku look a lot better than Dylan Gabriel, or I guess earlier in the season Joe Flacco. So
this is true.
Yeah, I really like this for the Rams, and for Cleveland, I think it makes complete sense. I don't know why you would pay David Njoku when you have Harold Fannin coming up through the ranks on a rookie contract. He's a rookie this year, so Yeah, I'd think a 5, and I think it's a 5 for I like it, and for a likelihood, I'm gonna give it like a 3.5. I think it's pretty likely since it's such a win-win for both teams.
The issue might be just like what the Rams are willing to pay, and then obviously like you're gonna have to pay David Njoku following that because you're not just gonna get him on a rental, right? Because he's on his contract year. How much are you gonna pay him is the question. I think the Rams have some salary cap because they mostly have like young players on their defense, so they're not invested too much on that right now. But question is how much are the Rams willing to pay, and then will they be able to like hold Njoku plus whatever else needs to be paid for following that. I think Puka's gonna eventually get into his contract year, so that's gonna be
it's gonna be
huge for sure. So
All right, I think I'm gonna push back on this a little bit. I'm not as big of a fan of this as Anurag is.
Okay.
And here's why, right? This past draft, the Rams selected Terrence Ferguson in the second round, right? So they have significantly invested in the tight end position already. I don't see why they would be willing to pay Njoku, like you mentioned, after this contract is up. But it is not too bad of a contract. Oh, never mind. It is a pretty big contract. It's Spotrac tells me $24 million after next year.
For Njoku's contract?
Yeah. So that's a pretty big and sizable contract. 7.92% of their cap. So I guess for the Rams, I do get the fit. I think the fit is excellent, right? If there was no money involved, I could see the Rams really using Njoku this year, right, to make a big run. But I just think beyond this year, the fit suddenly starts to decrease because Terrence Ferguson will be healthy and playing. Right. And they also have, what's his face? Tyler Higbee, who I think has a torn ACL right now. But
I think it's worth it to try and maximize
the
what
window?
Stafford window is.
Yeah.
It might be just this year.
It might be this year and maybe potentially next year as well. But to me, it's worth it to try and maximize an elite QB that you have his window.
Also, for the Browns, what's his face? Dylan Gabriel, right? Dylan Gabriel is basically only throwing to his tight ends right now, right? Like, I think Njoku and Fannin have, like, pretty much all of the air yards on that offense.
Yeah, this guy won't throw the ball down.
80% if not higher, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. And, like, I feel like both of them being there is, like, a good safety blanket for any QB, right? Not just Dylan Gabriel. Like, let's say Shedeur actually draws a start, which I don't think he will, but let's say he does draw a start, then having Njoku there is pretty beneficial for his development, too.
Right.
And
you don't think the Browns will go a QB in the draft?
Oh, they will next year as well.
So
right?
yeah,
but I do like it's like conflicting for me because I do think that the Browns are going to move on from Njoku next year or the year after that. So I don't know. Maybe they just bite the bullet and do it now.
The thing is, like, the idea for trading Njoku in the first place was I don't really know if they would pay him or not because he's on a contract.
They won't probably.
Yeah,
probably won't. And he'll be like age 30 by then, right?
I don't know how old he is actually. Let's see.
Oh, he's 29 right now.
Yeah,
so yeah,
he'll be 30. Yeah. But yeah, your scores, Arjun?
Okay, in terms of how likely I think it is to happen, I'll give it a 1 for both teams, so 2.
Okay.
So 2 out of 5.
Okay.
In terms of how much I like it, I'll give it a 2.5.
Okay.
So 2 for the Rams. I like it for them a lot. But for the Browns, I'll give it like a 0.5.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I guess for me, I like it for both teams. For the Rams, I'll give it like a 2, and for the Browns, I'll also give it a 2. So I'm at 11.5 for that.
Cool.
And then the likelihood, I think it's pretty unlikely as well. So I'll give it a 2 for that. So I'm at 7.5.
Cool.
The exact same scores for both. Great. All right. Okay.
Nice.
But interestingly, like, I thought all of us were much more positive. Oh, actually, never mind. Because Anurag was very positive about this one as opposed to the Jaelen Phillips trade.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Anurag, let's hear your last one.
So I got Kayvon Thibodeaux, big name out of New York. I think he had a breakout second season, but he's been like regressing a little bit so far this year. He has 2.5 sacks and 12 tackles. The Giants D line is low key like pretty stacked. I guess on paper it's stacked. It hasn't been performing like that always, but it's pretty stacked on paper. And Kayvon Thibodeaux is in a contract year, and I don't think the Giants want to pay him because they have a young team, and he hasn't been performing to the 5th overall pick, which is what he was. They invested a lot in him, and he hasn't exactly lived up to the expectations that they had for him to be like a game changer. He is not that right now. So I have the Carolina Panthers taking a chance on Kayvon Thibodeaux.
My.
I think, and the return is, I think Chuba Hubbard goes back to New York.
Dang, that's it.
Yeah, maybe a few maybe a few other pieces, maybe a couple
That is a
picks.
spicy trade.
I think the
my
reasoning
goodness.
behind this is Kayvon Thibodeaux hasn't been like he needs like someone has to take a swing on him by paying him, right? And I don't think like a super contender or like even like a modest contender will take that swing because it's a lot of capital to invest and you're very uncertain. So I think it's going to be more of a lateral move. I think Carolina has some pieces in place. I don't think they'll move on from Bryce Young. He's been playing okay, but these days it's very hard to find a QB. So I think they'll stick it out with Bryce Young. I'll be very surprised if they don't give him a second contract, Bryce Young that is. But they could give Kayvon Thibodeaux a contract and swing on his upside, and hopefully he can change that defense because he projected to be a game changer in college, and potentially that potential is still there in the NFL. So it's not working out with the Giants as expected, but maybe a change of scenery will help him, and I think that's what the Panthers will bet on. And as for the return, I think obviously with that scat injury, and obviously the Giants have Tyrone Tracy and Devil Singletary on their roster, but maybe having a more quality running back 2 or running back 1A, 1B, whatever you want to call it, having a 2 running back system to go along with Jackson Dart's running ability, maybe they want to go all in on their rushing attack going forward. So I think Chuba Hubbard might be a good option for the New York Giants.
Go ahead.
All right. So I think, first of all, it's an interesting trade because I think it was only last year that the Giants traded for Brian Burns from the Panthers, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is pretty much like going full circle. Like they traded for Burns and now they're trading Thibodeaux back to the Panthers. So that's pretty funny. But I think there would need to be a significant amount of draft capital because I think Chuba Hubbard is pretty washed, and I don't think most NFL teams would be willing to take on, like, they gave Chuba Hubbard a contract extension, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to take on all of that money for Chuba Hubbard, who is kind of a middling back, while you already have Scatterbo recovering, and like I don't think how much better do you really think like Chuba Hubbard is than Devin Singletary?
I think a good bit.
I would lean more towards the side of Arjun here, but just for the fact that Thibodeaux is just that much more valuable, so they would have to be a lot more involved besides Hubbard.
Probably more, maybe like Hubbard in the third or Hubbard in the second, something like that.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
But even if you fill in like that whatever draft capital, I think Hubbard is an interesting player to select going back because of the injury. So mainly, like if I throw in my concerns about value because I don't know anything about trades anyway, I think it's a pretty good fit. Like I think the Panthers could definitely use some D-line help. So in general, I like the trade.
I like the trade as well. Yeah, I think when you brought up Thibodeaux to the Panthers, I was like, what is he thinking? And then
Loki, he cooked.
And I was like, wait a minute. And then when you brought up Chuba, I was like, okay, wait a minute. This could be good because like Canales is moving more towards Dowdle, obviously being that like that guy for them. I don't even know how this happened, but he's moving towards being that guy for them, and I guess it just opens the opportunity for Chuba to be traded. So, and then the Panthers are definitely are on the move upwards towards trying to contend, right? And I think Thibodeaux could be that kind of piece that like helps them to trend towards that direction. They obviously have very good options on the defense already with like J.C. Horn being like a top 10 cornerback in the league, and they just are continuing to like develop that roster per se. And I think Thibodeaux could be a good option for that. And the question is just how much do the Giants get back, and is it worth giving up Thibodeaux for that? Is the question for me. So I guess for my scores, in terms of liking it for both sides, obviously there would need to be more picks involved for the Panthers giving stuff back. But in terms of those two guys just being the main two players involved, I would give it like a 3.5. I do feel like both sides do gain a little bit from that, and both do have positions of need that they can address. Adding another running back that can contend for a running back 1 for the Giants, and then the Panthers adding like a very high quality linebacker, defensive end kind of guy in Thibodeaux. So I would give it 3.5 for that. Likelihood, I'm not too certain on that just because of the salary that they would have to pay Thibodeaux and Hubbard for that matter, and then how it would shake up in terms of capital for draft stuff. So I'd lean towards like a 1 for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think like even the Panthers giving up capital for an aging edge just makes me a little bit nervous right now.
Aging. He is 24.
He is aging, you know.
That's a bit harsh. That's a bit harsh.
Time is ticking, man.
That's a bit harsh.
I'll say I like it as a 4. I like the score I would give it for how much I like it.
They're getting him before his prime.
True. So I guess
I think aging is like completely wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, that's fair. I will retrieve my statement. But I like it as a 4, right? I think it's a pretty good trade for both teams, and both teams are getting a guy that fills the hole. My likelihood, I'll also give it a 1. I don't think it's that likely to happen, but I'm realizing now that a lot of these trades are very unlikely to happen.
I think a trade during the NFL deadline in general, it's not like the NBA, right? It's very unlikely in general.
If I'm being fair, I should probably give it like a 2. So you can actually move it up to 3.
Okay.
I'll
move it up to 1.
And what was your score for how much you like the trade?
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go how much I like the trade. I'm gonna go 4 as well, and then for likelihood to happen, I think 1.5 is fair.
Okay.
I just think getting like such like an interesting trade with 2 players rather than like 1 player. It's not like one player is you're sending the 1 player back and then you're receiving a bunch of picks or anything like that.
Yeah,
it's more
interesting.
So it's more interesting. So I think these type of trades are a little bit more difficult to pull off. And there's not much time before the trade deadline. This seems like more like an off-season trade, to be honest.
I thought it was very creative, though. Like
Thank
you found like a player that both teams could benefit with. Yeah. So, yeah. With that, a trade deadline is on Tuesday at 4 p.m. So that's what, 5 days from now? Saturday, Sunday, no, 4 days from now. So yeah, very interested to see how this shakes up come next week when we discuss about this. But really quickly now we'll go to our like weekly overview stuff. That's kind of like our buys, sells, upsets of the week. I can start really quickly. I was gonna talk about Njoku briefly because I thought he could get traded, but I kind of already discussed that. So I will now move to my actual buy, which is Kayvon Booty. He's on the New England Patriots. The reasoning for this is route participation consistently around 70%. So he's kind of like a guy that's always there most of the time whenever the Patriots are on offense. He doesn't get that many targets, but he's definitely a big play threat. And Drake May is the kind of guy that can definitely get him the ball in those big plays. And he's consistently accomplished that the last 3 weeks at least. The last 3 weeks he's gotten 26 fantasy points, 14 fantasy points, and 16.5 fantasy points. So he's definitely been a good bang for your buck if you somehow managed to draft him, if you were that much of a genius. But if you picked him up for free agency, he's definitely been good as well. And I'd be more confident on the Patriots offense rather than just Booty himself. Shout out to Drake May for that. Obviously, Kayvon Booty is definitely going to be like a boom bust option, but given the amount that you would probably need to trade for him, it's probably not that much. So he could be someone worth value as like a wide receiver 3 or like a flex option on your team. And then their schedule is pretty nice the next couple of weeks, amongst which are like Cincinnati, the Giants, the Ravens, Buffalo, the Jets, etc. So pretty open to trading for him if you can get a decent value from it.
Honestly, yeah, I like that a lot, and he's on waivers in a lot of leagues. I think he just hit 91% route participation in the last game, so he's been trending up now.
Yeah,
and he's been popping off, so pretty good. Yeah.
All right.
My buy is Rico Dowdle, and this is interesting because let me paint the picture for you for what's happening right now. Right after Chuba came back, per JJ Zachariason, who is great, you should check him out. Dowdle has 25 carries, 2 targets. He's played 54% of the snaps, 54 total snaps, and he's had 150 total yards. On the other hand, Hubbard has 26 carries, 4 targets. He's played 73 snaps to Dowdle's 54, and he has only 89 yards. So why are the Panthers giving Chuba Hubbard the ball when he's been so clearly outperformed by Rico Dowdle, right?
Because they paid him.
Yeah, they paid him. He has the seniority. He's been on the team for a while. He's like a team captain or whatever, right? So why, despite that, am I saying you should buy Dowdle, right? I don't think the Panthers are dumb. And this might be my mistake, but I don't think they're dumb. I think they won 2 games off the back of Dowdle having massive yardage, right? They just announced, right before we recorded this, they just announced him as a starter over Chuba Hubbard, which is a pretty huge change of the guard, right? It's kind of just in
after paying someone that much in the contract year.
So, maybe...
Sounds like they should trade this guy.
Sounds like it. Maybe for an edge from New York. But yeah, I think eventually this messy backfield will shake out to where Rico Dowdle is getting a lot more run than he is right now. And we've seen what he can do with that run before. He's been efficient this year. He's been very good. So I think he's definitely a buy if you can get him for a reasonable price, right?
I agree with that.
My buy is Kamire DK. Tennessee Titans, their wide receiver 1 position is up in there. Calvin Ridley hasn't been amazing so far. And the rookie they drafted, Elik Ayamanor, I think, he's also has some struggles with drops and stuff like that. Though he was very good in college. I watched some of his highlights. I think he mossed Travis Hunter on one highlight. That was pretty fun. But he hasn't been all that in the NFL so far. So DK has started to take over that wide receiver 1 spot in Tennessee, and Cam Ward is, finding him a lot. And it seems like they've built some good chemistry. And I think having a young receiver and a young quarterback build chemistry together, we see what it has done for many great QBs in the league. So I think it's trending upwards. So that's my buy, DK. I'm keeping it short and simple.
Yeah, I mean, also,
Thank you.
Rookies have a lot of upside. We could see him go crazy in the back half.
Yeah, I was just thanking Anurag for keeping it short.
Yeah.
Given last week's buy. No, but no, I agree with you, Mary DK, for sure. It's very open to kind of seeing who the wide receiver 1 ends up becoming, and from the past 3 weeks, it looks like DK could be that option, and he's probably more likely to be on your waivers than he is like on someone's team right now. So pick him up, see what he can do, and if he is that kind of guy, you'd be happy you picked him up. So yeah, I guess with that we can go to
low risk, high reward.
Right. With that, we can go to sells. My sell for this rest of season is Romeo Doubs. To be honest, if you can get anything relevant to Romeo Doubs' current value, I would highly recommend you to do so. The reasoning is not because Romeo Doubs is a bad receiver or anything like that. I do believe Romeo Doubs is a pretty good receiver. The issue is that they just have a very crowded receiver room. And I can tell you who they have. They have Matthew Golden, who is a rookie. They have Saban Williams, who's a rookie. They have Christian Watson, who came back from his ACL injury last season. They have Malik Heath, who's a young option. They have Dontayvion Wicks, who's a young option. And a couple weeks down the road, Jayden Reed will also come back from his injury. And that just brings, 6 potential receivers who you don't know who will be the wide receiver 1 on any given week. But on top of that, you have a top 5 tight end rest of the season, Tucker Kraft, who is also competing with Jordan Love. Top 5 for sure. Debatable whether he's top 3, top 2, top 1, etc. But he's definitely going to be your go-to target from Jordan Love in terms of games that will be close and high scoring. And if it's not close and high scoring, you know who the ball is going to. It's going to Josh Jacobs, obviously, right? So although it's not as significant, Dobbs' snap share dropped by around 8% in the last game with Christian Watson's arrival. And he dropped to 6 targets compared to his 8 to 9 in the last few games. So most likely a trend to come, just because it'll be hard to start any of these Green Bay receivers, to be honest, aside from Tucker Kraft. So this is kind of my reasoning with Romeo Doubs.
Cool. I'll go next. This is a little bit of a spicy one, but my sell is Trey McBride. I didn't pick a running back after 4 running backs in a row. Trey McBride, because Kyler is about to return. And when Kyler is starting QB, I think Trey McBride has only 2 receiving touchdowns or something crazy like that. And Kyler was playing a bottom 10 to 15 QB when he was healthy, whereas Brissett is actually having some decent advanced metrics like EPA per play. He's been middle of the pack, right? So this is actually a downgrade in QB situation for McBride, and he'll still be good. He'll still be a top 5 tight end probably. I think he'll be even better than that, maybe top 3. But the upside that makes him a contender for the tight end 1 overall is probably out of the table with Kyler coming back. So I really like trading McBride for Gadsden and a piece, or if you have Gadsden, maybe you can trade him for an upgrade at a different position, because I think now is a good time where his value is super high right now. He's had a couple of good weeks in a row. I think it's a good time to move on from him. Anurag?
I struggled a little bit picking. It's gonna sound like I'm a hater after I picked Saquon last week, but I'm picking Derrick Henry this week. I'm going for established running backs. I just think the past few weeks, Derrick Henry obviously had a great performance against the Bears with 19 points, but this season he hasn't been that great overall. He had 2 points against Cleveland, 2.3 points against Cleveland, 10.7 points against Detroit, 7.8 points against Kansas City, and 9.3 points against Houston. So he is getting older, and he's having fumbling issues throughout the season, as displayed as cost the Ravens some games. And I'm betting on father time with this one. I think the season it's in the thick of the season, and I think he's a little bit beat up and banged up. So I don't know how much Derrick Henry can perform at an RB, a top tier RB level. So if you can get some nice pieces for Derrick Henry, people who want to buy high on Derrick Henry after Lamar Jackson comes back, maybe you can you can ask a high price for Derrick Henry.
Interesting take for sure. I have a question to both Arjun and Anurag for their sells. Question to Arjun first. This is not even related to Trey McBride. This is honestly just related to Brissett versus Kyler Murray. Do you think Brissett's a better quarterback than Kyler Murray?
No, I don't. I think Kyler is not that good, but I don't think he's gonna lose his job to Brissett, if that's what you're asking.
Okay.
But
well, I don't think necessarily
Brissett
losing
has
job.
been decent, but
Yeah, because I feel like the games that they've played with Brissett as the quarterback has been way closer.
They have been more competitive.
They've
That
been
is
way
true.
more competitive than when Kyler's led the offense. So it's not necessarily the fact that the fantasy options are not as great with Kyler coming back. It's just
maybe Kyler just isn't that good.
Yeah, I think Brissett can do more with less. And Kyler has obviously the more like top end, high end talent. So I think once you start, Kyler has his limitations with throwing over the field or over the middle of the field, and he throws a lot to the outside, etc., etc. He has those issues, and if you don't surround him with like really, really good talent around him, he starts to struggle a little bit. And I think Brissett, he can raise the floor. So in my opinion, Brissett is a floor raiser, and Kyler is the ceiling raiser, but right now it doesn't look like Kyler is raising any ceilings. So
I think Kyler could have an arc if he's not on the Cardinals after next year. I think he could have an arc like Baker or Darnold, where he like has a redemption somewhere else, because I think the talent is still there.
True.
Yeah, it's just been a couple years of regression.
Yeah. That was a quick side note. I don't want to take too much time on that. But a question to Anurag about Derrick Henry. So I understand that like obviously he's like aging obviously and things like that. But I guess like the thing that I saw with Henry, the games that he didn't perform well, was just the fact that everyone knew that they could just like crowd the box with Henry for the most part. But now with like at least Tyler Huntley was starting the game against the Bears, and before that it was Cooper Rush, who from what I've seen is significantly worse than Tyler Huntley.
I have no idea why the Ravens
I don't know why that happened. To be honest, why they even consider starting Rush over Huntley, but I feel a little more optimistic about Henry moving forward, just because of the dual threat that comes with Lamar, and then somewhat of a threat that comes with Huntley. So
I feel like the Ravens offense is back. I think they've struggled a little bit for the beginning of the season, but I think with an improved Ravens offense, Derrick Henry could actually be better than what he's shown in the past.
I mean, if someone is overly optimistic, you could sell him for sure. Yeah. Like
he's not going to be 2020 Derrick Henry.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. This is not going to be the Derrick Henry we saw like week 1 against the Bills or something like that.
Or even Derrick Henry from last year. Probably.
Right. But
I think he's still a guy. I think he's still a good guy.
Yeah. Good
player. When Lamar's return, Derrick Henry had 13 points. So he had
against the Bears?
No, against Miami. Against Miami. And Lamar's return, he had 119 yards and off 19 attempts. So,
but also he popped off against the Bears too, right?
He did do that.
Yeah.
So it could be a sell high spot. Could be a
sell high, yeah.
Buy while you can spot.
Ooh, okay. We got some disagreement here.
All right. Well, for what it's worth, we can go into a spicier week 9. One of the main headlines for week 9 is a Bills versus Chiefs game. I don't think any of us have any upset picks on that, just because the line is Bills plus 1.5. But with that in mind, we can go into our upset picks. Mine is honestly something that I'm not particularly excited about, but something that I think could be worth looking into as a trap game for the Patriots. And that is the Falcons over the Patriots. Falcons are plus 5.5 over the Patriots. Falcons.
Is Penix coming back in this game?
I don't think so. I don't think he was at practice today.
I'm not certain.
He was back at practice.
Yeah, I think he was. But regardless of the fact, I think that this is the Patriots like.
Oh, he's set to play right now.
Yeah, so I think this is the Patriots' chance to potentially not choke, but like every team has a trap game here and there, and this could be a win. That's my only reasoning, to be honest. The Patriots have been great.
I think I'll go next. I have my Minnesota Vikings walking into Detroit. I think the game's in Detroit.
It is Detroit.
Okay, walking into Detroit and taking the dub over the Detroit Kitties. No, I'm just kidding. The Detroit Lions. I think there's not really much of a logic here. I looked at the line. I think it's really high, and I gotta back my team.
Worth a shot.
It's worth a shout. I'm gonna go Vikes plus 8.5 over the Lions.
Okay. I picked
Please.
the Cardinals, who are the Cowboys are favored over them by 3.5. So Cardinals plus 3.5. I don't really like. I feel like this will be a close game. I don't think the Cowboys defense is as good as it has like been the past 2 weeks. I think they've been playing above their weight. So I think maybe Jacoby Brissett can poke some holes in that and get an offense going for the Cardinals. And also, I think the Cardinals cornerbacks and secondary are a little bit better than we think. So maybe, just maybe, I can get 3.5 points because they play a little good against CD and Pickens.
Yeah, the Cowboys defense looked awful last week. The Broncos dropped 44 on them.
They walked over them.
So, yeah. But,
sorry, the weeks before that, I should say.
Yeah.
All right.
You guys want to do a little Chiefs Bills discussion, or what do you guys think?
What is there to discuss?
My discussion is that the Bills will win.
Okay.
Yeah,
the Chiefs
I
are
guess
gonna win.
that's a big game. I think we'll see how bad the Bills defense really is.
Yeah, definitely.
And whether or not it's actually like a real problem for them.
Yeah.
I think that's coming up against the Chiefs.
I think it's a good game for both teams to fully understand where they're at this stage. I feel more comfortable about the Chiefs at this stage, I will admit. But I think the Bills will win.
Okay, with that said, I think I'm going for Kansas City.
I'll back you right there, bro.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right,
We'll see what goes on.
We shall
See what happens.
I've been Anurag. I'll see you guys later.
You did tip it? Did you tip it?
Yeah, I tipped it.
Oh, you tipped it?
I'm signing off.
This is Akshay. I'm signing off, and my team will beat the Commanders. So I'm very excited for the Seahawks to get to 6-2. 6-2.
See y'all next week.
Peace.